Anna lived a quiet life in a small village. Her days were simple but full of warmth. She helped her mother in the kitchen, worked in the garden, and often visited her neighbors. She didn't have many luxuries, but she had dreams, small, tender dreams she kept close to her heart. Still, she was shy and unsure of the larger world beyond her village. When she turned 20, her life began to change. Her parents arranged her marriage to a man named Daniel. He was 25, worked in a small-town office, and was known for his calm nature and kind eyes. Anna's parents liked him at once. They believed he would take good care of her. On her wedding day, Anna felt two things at the same time: happiness and fear. Happiness because she was stepping into a new life. Fear because she had never lived away from her family before. Everything around her felt strange and beautiful at once: the music, the smiles, the kind words. Her heart beat quickly as she tried to be brave, smiling even when her hands trembled. After the celebration ended, she moved to her new home, a small but tidy house with white sheets and a window that opened to a garden. It was peaceful, but to Anna it felt foreign. She sat on the bed still wearing her wedding dress, its fabric heavy against her shoulders, her heart full of questions about what her new life would bring. Anna sat quietly in her new room, the soft light from the window falling across her dress. The house was warm, but her hands were cold. She felt both nervous and alone. Then the door opened gently. Daniel walked in. He looked tired from the day, but when his eyes met hers, he smiled. It wasn't a big smile, just a calm, kind one that made her heart slow down a little. He sat beside her on the bed without saying anything at first. The silence between them was not heavy. It was soft. After a moment, he spoke in a gentle voice. "Anna, I know you are afraid, but you don't need to worry. You are safe with me." His words touched her heart. She looked down at her shaking hands, and he reached out slowly to hold one. His hand was warm and steady. "You are my wife now," he said, "but tonight is not about rules. It's about trust. We have time. You don't have to be afraid." Tears filled Anna's eyes, not from sadness, but from relief. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I feel so small." Daniel did not laugh. He simply put his arm around her and said softly, "You don't need to say sorry. It's normal to feel this way." They sat together for a long while, saying little. He didn't rush her. He didn't ask for anything. He just stayed close, giving her space and peace. When she began to relax, he stood up and said, "Can I make you some tea?" Anna was surprised. She nodded. A few minutes later, Daniel returned with 2 cups. The tea was warm and sweet. She took a small sip, and for the first time that night, she smiled. Daniel smiled too. "See, this night can be simple. We can just sit, drink tea, and talk." They talked softly about her family, his work, and small things they liked. The fear in the room faded away. When the tea was gone, Daniel asked, "Can I sit closer?" She said yes. He sat beside her and asked again, "Can I hold your hand?" When she gave her hand to him, he smiled. Then after a moment, he asked gently, "Can I kiss your forehead?" She nodded slightly. His kiss was soft, respectful, and full of care. That night, Anna learned something new, that love could be patient, that it could be gentle, and that safety could live in silence and a cup of tea shared between 2 hearts just beginning their journey together. The morning light entered softly through the white curtains. Anna opened her eyes slowly, unsure for a moment where she was. Then she remembered. This was her new home. The air smelled fresh, and the room was quiet. Daniel was not on the chair where he had sat last night. For a second she felt worried. But soon the door opened, and Daniel walked in, carrying a tray. On the tray was warm tea, fresh bread, and butter. "Good morning, Anna," he said with a gentle smile. She sat up, surprised. "You didn't have to do this," she said. Daniel shook his head. "I wanted to. You didn't eat much yesterday. You should eat well today." His words were simple, but they filled her heart with calm. She took the bread and ate slowly while Daniel sat nearby, watching her with kind eyes. After breakfast, he helped her fold the heavy wedding dress. Anna felt shy, but Daniel's manner was gentle and respectful. He didn't look at her with hunger or impatience, only with care. When she changed into a light dress, she felt free for the first time. Together, they began to clean the small house. Daniel showed her where things were: the dishes, the small garden outside, and the shelves in the kitchen. In the garden, there were only a few flowers and one small tree. Daniel smiled and said, "We can plant more later." "You can choose," Anna smiled back. The idea made her happy. It was the first time she felt that this house could become her home. In the afternoon, they sat together in the living room. Daniel asked her, "What are your dreams, Anna?" She looked surprised. No one had asked her that before. After a moment, she said softly, "I always wanted to bake cakes. I want to learn how to make bread." Daniel listened carefully. "That's a beautiful dream," he said. "Maybe one day you can open your own shop." Anna laughed a little, shaking her head. "That's too big for me." But Daniel smiled and said, "No dream is too big if it comes from your heart." His words stayed with her. She had never told anyone about that dream before, but now she felt seen, truly seen. For the first time since her wedding, she began to believe that this new life could also be the start of something beautiful. That evening, Anna cooked rice and vegetables for dinner. Daniel helped her in the kitchen, cutting onions with watery eyes. She laughed when he pretended to cry. "You see," he said, smiling, "I'm not good at cooking. I'll just cut the onions." Anna laughed again, a soft, real laugh that filled the small house with warmth. Days turned into weeks. Life began to follow a gentle rhythm. Every morning, Daniel left early for work in the town, and Anna stayed home to clean, cook, and water the garden. In the evenings, he returned tired but smiling, and they always ate together. They shared stories about their day, small things, but they mattered. One evening, Anna tried baking bread for the first time. It was not perfect, but when Daniel came home and tasted it, he said, "It's very good. I'm proud of you." Anna's cheeks turned warm with happiness, but not every day was easy. One day she burned the food. The pot turned black, and smoke filled the kitchen. Anna felt terrible and wanted to cry. When Daniel came in and saw the mess, she said quickly, "I'm sorry, I ruined it." Daniel looked at the pot and then at her. He smiled gently and said, "It's okay. We can eat bread and cheese today. Next time it will be better." His calmness surprised her. He didn't shout or get angry. He just helped her clean the pot. That night, as they ate simple food, Anna felt something change inside her. The fear she once felt began to fade. Slowly, she grew more confident. She started to laugh more, talk more, and even sing softly while cooking. Daniel would often say, "Your voice makes the house warm." One Sunday, Daniel said, "Let's go for a walk." They went to the park in town. Children were playing, families were sitting on benches, and the air was cool and fresh. As they walked, Daniel held her hand. At first, Anna felt shy and looked around, but he said gently, "It's okay. You are my wife." His words made her heart feel calm. They sat near the lake, watching the water move in soft circles. Daniel asked, "Do you miss your family?" Anna nodded. "Yes, sometimes I do," Daniel smiled. "Then you can visit them any time. We can go together." Those words, simple, kind, and full of trust, meant more to Anna than he knew. She realized that love was not about control or fear. Love was about freedom, patience, and care. And for the first time, she felt truly safe in her new life. Weeks passed, and Anna's life began to bloom like the flowers in their garden. She planted herbs for cooking, bright flowers by the window, and small trees that would one day give shade. Daniel often came outside to watch her work. "You've made this place beautiful," he said one evening, looking around proudly. Anna smiled, her heart full. For the first time, she felt that this house truly belonged to both of them. One afternoon, she was tired from cleaning. When Daniel came home, he noticed right away. "You look tired. Did you work too much today?" he asked gently. Anna sighed. "I wanted to finish all the cleaning." Daniel shook his head and smiled softly. "You don't need to do everything alone. We can share." He took off his jacket and began washing the dishes. Anna watched him surprised. In her village, men rarely helped with housework. But Daniel didn't seem to think twice. He simply did it out of love. She felt grateful, knowing how lucky she was. One night, Anna couldn't sleep. She sat by the window, the moonlight touching her face. Daniel woke up and saw her. "What's wrong?" he asked quietly. She hesitated, then said, "Sometimes I feel I'm not enough. I don't know if I'm a good wife." Daniel knelt beside her and took her hands. His eyes were serious but kind. "Anna," he said softly, "you are more than enough. You are honest. You are kind. You care for me. That's all I need." His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket. Her eyes filled with tears, but this time they were from love, not fear. A few days later, Daniel came home with a small box in his hands. "For you," he said with a shy smile. Anna opened it. Inside was a small notebook with plain white pages. "This is for your recipes," Daniel said. "You can write down everything you learn." Anna touched the cover gently. It was simple, but it felt precious, like a promise. That night, she wrote her first recipe inside. "My first bread." Their life wasn't perfect. Some days, Anna forgot small things. Once she didn't wash Daniel's shirt for work. In the morning, when he asked for it, she said, "I'm sorry, I forgot." Daniel paused for a moment, then smiled. "It's okay, I'll wear another one." He didn't shout or make her feel small. He just moved on with quiet grace. Another time, Anna got upset because Daniel didn't buy new teacups she wanted. He explained gently, "We should save some money first." She turned away, angry, but later she thought about his words and realized he was right. That evening she apologized. Daniel smiled and said, "We're learning together." Every small moment, the mistakes, the forgiveness, the laughter, made their bond stronger. Anna could feel her fear melting away, replaced by something new and steady. Trust. She saw more of Daniel's heart each day, his patience, his gentleness, his wish for her to grow and be free. The shy girl who once trembled on her wedding night was now learning what love truly meant. Not perfection, but understanding. Not control, but care. Not silence, but shared warmth. After 3 months of marriage, Daniel took Anna to visit his parents. She felt nervous on the way there. Her hands were cold, just like on her wedding day. She wanted them to like her, to see her as part of their family. But the moment they arrived, her fear began to fade. Daniel's mother hugged her warmly, and his father smiled with kind eyes. "We are happy you are in our family," they said. Anna's eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but from a deep feeling of belonging. When they returned home that evening, Anna said softly, "Your parents are kind." Daniel smiled. "Yes," he said, "and now they are your parents too." Those words made Anna's heart full. For the first time, she felt that she was not just a guest in someone's home. She was part of something bigger, a family built with love. As spring arrived, flowers began to bloom in their garden. Anna baked bread almost every week, and each time Daniel said, "It's even better than the last one." She laughed and shook her head, but his words always made her happy. One evening, as the sun went down and the sky turned gold, Daniel looked at her and said, "Do you know why I'm happy?" Anna smiled. "Why?" she asked. Daniel held her hand. "Because I come home to you. Because we eat together, talk, and laugh. That's my happiness." Anna's heart filled with warmth. Their life was simple, but it was full of peace and care. Every day she understood more that love wasn't made of big gifts or grand words. Love lived in small things, in smiles, in tea shared at night, in kind words and patient silence. Months passed. Their garden grew green and full, and so did their lives. One evening, Daniel came home looking both excited and nervous. Anna asked, "What happened?" He sat down and took her hands. "Anna," he said with shining eyes, "I got a promotion at work." Her face lit up. "That's wonderful," she said. Daniel nodded. "It means more money, and the company will give us a bigger house." "3 bedrooms? 3?" Anna asked in surprise. He smiled softly. "Yes, one for us, one for guests, and one for a baby in the future." Anna's heart stopped for a moment. "A baby?" "Their baby." She looked at Daniel's hopeful face and asked quietly, "Do you really want children?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, when you're ready too." Anna thought about everything, her fear on the first night, his kindness, their laughter, their trust. And then she smiled. "Yes," she said softly, "I want children with you one day." Daniel kissed her hand and smiled. That night, they cooked dinner together and talked about the future, the new house, the garden they would grow, the life they would build. A week later, they moved into their new home. It was bigger and brighter, with a wide garden full of promise. Anna walked through each room, touching the walls, imagining their future. "This is our new start," Daniel said. Anna placed fresh flowers on the table and baked bread in the new kitchen. The smell filled the house, and Daniel laughed. "It already smells like home," he said. That evening, they sat outside watching the sunset. Daniel spoke about the future, about teaching their children to read, about showing them how to care for plants. Anna smiled and said, "I'll bake with them and sing to them at night." They both laughed softly under the orange sky. Life felt peaceful, full of hope. Anna realized that her fear had turned into strength and her shyness into quiet confidence. Their love was no longer new and uncertain. It was growing, steady, and real. One quiet night, as the moonlight filled their new home, Daniel and Anna sat by the window, holding hands. The air was still, and everything around them felt calm and safe. Daniel looked at her and said softly, "Do you remember our first night?" Anna smiled. "Yes," she whispered. "I was very afraid." Daniel nodded, his eyes warm. "Yes, but look at you now. You laugh, you dream, you shine." Anna's heart filled with emotion. "It's because of you," she said. "You were kind. You were patient. You gave me time." Daniel took her hand gently and said, "And you gave me joy. You made this house warm. You made me feel loved." Tears touched Anna's eyes, but they were happy tears. "We gave each other love," she said. "That's why we are happy." Months passed peacefully. Anna discovered more about herself. She realized she was not only a wife, she was Anna, a woman with dreams and strength. She filled her recipe notebook with new breads and cakes. Daniel called himself her first customer and laughed as he tasted her creations. One day, Daniel said, "Anna, I want you to follow your dream. Try selling your bread at the market." Anna hesitated. "Do you really think I can do that?" He smiled. "Yes, you are ready. I'll help you." So on Saturday morning, Anna went to the village market with a basket full of bread. She stood at a small wooden table, her heart beating fast. People came, looked, and smiled. Some bought her bread and said, "It's delicious." When she came home, her basket was empty. Daniel met her at the door. "How was it?" he asked. Anna's face glowed. "I sold all of them." Daniel hugged her tightly. "See? I told you, you can do it." Their life wasn't perfect. Sometimes they argued. Sometimes they were tired. But they always talked, always forgave, and always remembered the trust that had grown between them from that very first night. One evening, under the silver moonlight, Daniel took her hand again. "I promise I will always be kind to you," he said. "Even when we are old, even when our hair turns gray," Anna smiled. "And I promise I will always care for you. I'll bake for you even when I'm old." They laughed softly together. Anna looked at Daniel, the same man who had once held her trembling hand on her wedding night, and she felt her heart overflow with love. She thought of the shy girl she once was, afraid and unsure. That girl was gone. Now she was a woman who knew love, real love. "I want to tell other women," she said quietly. "A first night should never be full of fear. It should be full of care. Real love is not about rushing. It's about patience, respect, and trust." She looked at Daniel and smiled. "When I see you, I don't just see my husband. I see my friend, my partner, the man who gave me courage to dream. Years would come and go. Their faces would change, their hair would turn gray, but the love they built, slow, gentle, and honest, would never fade." Because love, Anna realized, isn't found in grand moments. It's found in tea shared at night, in warm bread from the oven, in kind eyes, and in hands that never let go. It was love that was safe. It was love that was real. It was love that would last forever.